pumped. There were war cries echoing from both of their desks during the break and before we got into live action. The operator bans on the previous map of Clubhouse seemed to hit Team 1 a little bit harder than it did on Empire's side of things. Let's see how it works out. Chalet, historically and most recently an attacker-sided map, but things have slowly changed, especially as that bottom floor site sees less play.
Thatcher the first ban here, and I just want to briefly mention, since you were talking about how there were some, some shouts, some yells in the interim between these maps, I heard Empire yelling. Doesn't happen very often. It's real cool to see, let me tell you. And whenever you get that, it's just a treat. Now, 2 bans done. Got the attackers done with here. It's Nomad and Thatcher. Obviously, Thatcher is going to be banned by Team 1 since they're on defense, and I am not surprised in the slightest to see Nomad banned by Empire. They do that so consistently. Actually, it's really interesting, Parker, because Team 1, the rounds that they got on Clubhouse, all thanks to the flanks, yeah? And Empire are still so confident that they are going to be able to handle those flanks that they still ban Nomad. And what that tells me is Empire are playing their version of Siege with no concessions to the enemy.
So the very first attack for Empire, we'll see what lineup they pick. I talked about how they don't always love to run a Thermite, and then they immediately make me look foolish. Not that I need any assistance on that front, but thank you, ShepparD, for trotting out the Thermite. Very first defense for Team 1 is going to be on Kitchen and Dining. I wouldn't be too surprised if we do see an attempt at Garage downstairs, but...
More screaming.
More screaming, of course. They're very pumped about that one. But it does tend to be the least defendable bomb site across all 4 bomb sites on this map. The 3-site rotation that most teams will employ is on Kitchen and Dining, which is the one you see right now. Directly above it, as shown, is Master, which is where Levy is. That's the Master bedroom. And then the last bomb site that most teams will play is Bar Gaming, over by the main lobby, right there for you. Obviously, very great differences in the way that the regions play this map. And, well, you see a lot of Frost in North America, you see a lot of Mute, and you see a lot of Valkyrie in Latin America and in Europe, more so than you do in NA, to really highlight the differences that we see there. But Valkyrie is banned out, as is Wamai. Those are pretty standard bans. It opens up a Mira to be played, and Team 1 are going to bring her right off the hop. Wow. Nice Electroclaws that we've seen. There was one that was played earlier on that, I can't remember what team it was. I think it was Team 1 playing this map against Cyclops when they actually knocked Cyclops out, showing how dominant Team 1 could be, and they threw an Electroclaw downstairs on the dining room table to get one of the walls down below. And it's something that I've seen a couple times, but it was really nice to get a good look at this level of play.
Yeah, and these are the types of things, when you watch these majors, you can now transition and stuff like that to your ranked play. All that's very interesting with the Electroclaw setups. There's lots of stuff to do there. The mirror window interesting as well, as it goes on a soft wall in the closet. I wonder where that second one is. It actually, it has been played, so we'll find it at some point. What we are looking at right now is a top floor roam, and KDS gets the first kill of the map. Electroclaw has been destroyed on the balcony, and open goes the wall.
All right, well, that's the start that Team 1 needs on this map. The momentum was seized in map number 1, but it doesn't carry over outside of what's in your head. The Kaid of Levy dares himself an engagement against Dan. Not many have wandered away from that with their head intact over the past week, but good news for Team 1, Levy does. Now a Rotero drone will go on in, guided as well by this Gemini. KDS is felled by a grenade of Dan, as he'd done some earlier damage to Levy, so at very minimum there's an assist lined up for him, as another Rotero drone will go too. If the Kaid dares a second altercation, Dan will be prepared and ready, and the AUG goes a free fire. Dan knows how tough this shot is to make, and he decides to fall off very wisely as we get the halfway point in round 1.
Yeah. Empire will clear out this top floor eventually. It's just a matter of time. The question is, how many bodies can Team 1 put on the floor before that happens? Sprays through the wall there. Still the roamers upstairs. Someone needs to confront this shield and deal with it, whether through a nade or some other soft or hard destruction. Either way, you can get it done. It's the nade, and it's actually going to get it down onto Lagonis as well, but nice refrags from Team 1, and we actually end at an even man count.
Grenade primed and ready as there's 50 seconds for Team Empire to translate this upstairs hold towards the bottom floor. Levy on even lower HP now as he and Neskin are hurting. Dan has taken about 20 HP's worth of damage, and that's about it. The bomb site is not upstairs, so when ShepparD goes to get that diffuser down, Dan will need to cover effectively, and Levy was pushing the breach, but ShepparD takes him down. Neskin will fire back. He's in a tough spot, pushed over to West Main by the stairs. He's got intel in the main lobby, but a smoke will go off, and he'll instinctively impact that. Does a little bit of damage to ShepparD, but Dan is still up there. Another impact goes. ShepparD's still holding true. 1 second remaining on that diffuser, and Neskin will charge up. He sees the thermite, gets him, but he pivots for Dan. Oh, beautiful opportunity to take out Dan. Neskin's on 1 HP. Dan just needs to hit one shot, and he'll do that. And Empire start off map 2 with a victory.
Dan has been so clutch through this tournament. From the start to the finish, the man has been on another level. And we've had JoyStiCK dropping 20 kills. And always really performing whenever his team needs him. These players, ShepparD on the anchor play, on the support, and it's been Scyther as well to tie it all together. Empire as a team have looked just amazing. And when you have rounds like that being clutched out, that's exactly what you need to assure your dominance in a finals. Now, I will say, though, Team 1 almost did the same thing. I mean, that was a really nice try from Neskin. He came super close, definitely an NT. It just didn't go all the way.
Neskin played that really well,
He did,
too.
yeah.
Taking charge, knowing that the diffuser was still going down. The impact's doing sizable damage to ShepparD. Obviously not enough to get the kill, but you take in, you push in, you take control of the diffuser, you pivot towards where you think Dan is going to be. The thing is that Dan didn't need to drop if he didn't want to. He's a sledge. He could have very easily continued to wreak havoc above and then look downward onto that diffuser. And with how little HP Neskin has, I know that the metal bars on the floor are going to take most of your bullets away when you tussle at that level, but Dan only needed to hit a single one, and he's been on an absolute tear the last 24 hours. Second defense now for Team 1, Michael. They're going to play quite aggressively up top yet again, like most teams will want to do. We will hold that map control. But do my eyes deceive me? We have a garage defense, the Madmen, trying this, as we've seen them do before against other teams.
Yeah, so this site usually is one of the worst sites on this map. I mean, it depends on who you're looking at and like what exact stats you're looking at. You know, NAL versus EUL, for example. Through this tournament, it's actually been the best site, but it's only been played. Well, this is the 6th time it's been played, so it's not a lot of stats to pull on.
Here's some bad news for Empire. Your hot hand's been shut down very early on. Sledge is gone, grenades are gone. Dan killed by Ali Mao in the ensuing fray.
JoyStiCK trying to clear here in Library. He's got the Jackal so he can look for the footprints. And he's doing just that. He's actually scanning Mozzie right now. And as a result, Neskin will fall back to site. Ooh, difficult challenge there. And JoyStiCK not going to be able to land the shot in time to get the kill. This roam clear is going to be super important for Empire. And they really need to punish Team 1 by at least getting a single kill on these 3 roamers. Make that 2 as one of them falls back.
Empire did suffer the first casualty back in round number 1, so this is not an odd spot for them to find themselves in.
Yep.
And they'll obviously trail, which is not ideal, though the Jackal will play a very critical part of this entry. JoyStiCK will shut down a rotate from above. No smokes available on his end. The Claymore more crucial for flank watch, as there's no dedicated flank watch operator. An electric claw in and it'll be gone, and that should provide clear access into the garage. Levy has taken up space inside of dining. He's now aligned with Neskin. As they look to push into the lobby together, there's nobody there waiting. If somebody does hop in the window, they'll prepared and waiting. But Empire are much closer to the bomb site than I think one understands. The diffuser halfway with ShepparD, a perfect lockout, but Scyther gets taken apart by Ali Mao. Another kill for Ali Mao onto ShepparD. He's the hero so far of this round. A kill for every single one of them. And Neskin and Lagonis add in as well as Team 1 answers back on round 2.
Empire just a little too linear on that attack, and Team 1 punishing. They were able to get behind all of those attackers, and they were able to maintain their presence above as well. So Empire don't clear out the roamers, and they get absolutely destroyed because of it, thanks to Ali Mao's excellent play. He was still off-site when he was able to put up all that pressure, I believe. We also have the flank behind blue, of course, but that, you know, I mean, the round was at that point pretty far over, but it speaks to one thing in particular. Empire have been so good at stopping the flanks from other teams through this tournament, but not Team 1. It's been a problem for them, and it was a problem for them on Clubhouse. Now, despite that, they still won on Clubhouse, but it's something that Empire need to address.
Locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Over to Bar Gaming, Team 1 will go. They're not looking to replicate that kitchen defense that they had previously lost on. Pity them. Right, Michael? They played this map, Team 1, against Dark Zero, if you recall. And on defense, Team 1 ran with the same rotation that we've seen thus far. Kitchen, Garage, Bar Gaming. They did not once go to that top floor bomb site. I wonder if it's because they don't think they have a strong enough grasp on Solarium and potentially on the bathroom side of the map. You know how quickly a good team can isolate the defenders, take control of Solarium, open up that single panel, get a clear top, and scurry out of the bomb site. But so far, the rotation for Team 1 in terms of sites is lining up perfectly what we saw with them when they played against Dark Zero 2 days ago.
Heavy roam by Library here for Team 1. Empire going for Solarium take, you can tell by their spawns. They're going to start on a clear over here on this side of the building and move it over to Library. So southwest. Well, a clear to the southwest. Lots of cutoff here. Empire are expecting there to be roamers on this north side, and they're hoping to prevent those roamers from escaping with their lives. That's why you see Always setting up for a big window repel. He's going to drone in for JoyStiCK. Got double drones going in there, so they have good information here. A third drone goes downstairs. This is typical for Empire. They're really good at gathering info. A little bit of redundancy with that droning, and that sometimes can be good if you're expecting a roamer, but right now there are none on the north side of the building.
Mau's still downstairs. This Jackal can be a thorn in the side of the roamers and the people playing off-site for Team 1, but JoyStiCK at the moment is posted up watching Chimney out on the balcony, and KDS might want to engage with that. He comes very close to doing so. Nobody seems to have that information, but they will instead drone out as a Rotero drone should clear out an ADS and a deployable shield. Maximum damage and savagery from that application of the drone in the hands of Always. This is usually ShepparD's operator, but instead, no, they've switched things up, wanting to go with the Thermite instead on Empire's side, and it's been working out quite effectively for them. Halfway point now of round number 3. Lagonis watching the bomb chassis, and then also looking towards the lobby. Scyther in the first altercation. He gets doubled up on by both Neskin and Alimau, shredded to pieces in West Main. That's a big pivotal pick, as Iana is now down. The intel that comes from those Geminis, no more.
Empire have consistently found themselves a man down early on. It's been a problem for them for, I think, every round, if I'm not mistaken. So they're going to have to start answering a little bit faster, or it's going to cause the problems later on.
You were not mistaken. Every single opening pick so far in this matchup going in favor of Team 1 thus far.
Yeah. Now, JoyStiCK from above, he's going to be scanning the foot, and he will find his target, Neskin, downstairs. That's a pretty long journey for Empire right now, who find themselves all upstairs, trying to play this vertical game onto the site. They need to get some kind of pick and answer back to Scyther dying earlier, or this is going to be really tricky when they convert to the site hit.
Long-range gunfight for JoyStiCK to go up against Alimau, who's having a tremendously strong game thus far. 5 kills, and we're not even finished the 3rd round. But JoyStiCK looking to have one of his own. Tears up the feet of Lagonis. The Mira and Jackal fighting to see who's the superior Spanish operator in this regard. Smokes tossed in from ShepparD will herald his entry to the bomb site. JoyStiCK drops. They punish KDS, but immediately Lagonis fires back. ShepparD in the midst of the smoke. Dan will have to cover. There goes the Nitro Cell, not doing enough work. He needs to now get on the case with only Always to watch. But Team 1 understands this. The smoke clears, and that's, no, not an easy finish, but then it is. Levy gets it. He runs out of ammunition for Lagonis, and things got mighty scary there for a moment. But they managed to fix their issues. Levy realizing that he's the hero of that round, and Team 1 grabbed the lead.
You can see Levy with a little levity there, as it's a pretty funny round. Still, though, a win for Team 1, and a big one. And you can hear them on the stage, I hope. And if you can, you could tell that they're starting to build that mental momentum we were talking about with Team 1. That's what is so essential for their play. And I say essential, and I mean it. There are a lot of teams like, there's like SSG, for example, TSM at full strength, Empire, BDS. These are teams that, yeah, they can use momentum, and they often do. They can, when they're getting in a good headspace, yeah, they'll pick it up. But their fundamentals, when not in that space, are solid enough to still win matches. That's not Team 1. They're not there yet. They need to be in that correct headspace. Now, I will say, they usually are. They're almost always jovial and like in a good space. I've seen them walking around in the lobby, all blasting music together and dancing as they walk to the stage and having fun with it. That's Team One. They're just like that, and they're very unique in that way. So even if you're not going to be able to make things happen in a bad headspace, I mean, they're almost always in a good one.
5 seconds.
So we're going to see if Kitchen can go in their favor for the second time. Team One did have some struggles here in that very first round. Team One want to run up the score here on Chalet. Not only is this one of their strongest maps so far through this event, but additionally, defense tends to be the better side for them. It was talked about on the analyst desk before we got into this matchup that the win rate for Team One on attack, irrespective of what map it is not particularly strong. Yes. Chalet is obviously a difference because it is such a strong map for them, but Empire are not a bad team on either side of the coin, and we have seen time and time again how despite facing terrible odds, they've pulled through on defense.
If I'm not mistaken, Empire are actually one of the better teams on attack for this tournament. I'd have to check double check those stats, but that's what I've heard and seen for their, what?
So you've got a better team on defense and a better team on attack. An unstoppable force meeting an immovable object. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry for the swears.
Did we?
No, ShepparD did, the Thermite did it.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Don't say swears.
Yeah, you had my heart like frozen for a second. I'm like, oh my gosh, what do we say?
Can't say gosh. Can't say gosh.
Oh yeah, my bad. Excuse me. Cover your ears, children. Now, Neskin, downstairs, he's on the roam, trying to make something happen, and this has been something that's consistently working for Team One on Chalet, actually. Terror Drone going out for the shield, and there you go, Flores being ever useful. Again, it's that boom that circumvents all boom counter that you're used to having.
So the speculation, by the way, that this map would end up being banned by Empire. So
yeah,
surprising that it made it through. But I mean, in a best of 7, you only get one opportunity. Or sorry, a best of 5 with only 7 maps. There's only one opportunity. Now, the strongest performer thus far for Team One, not just in terms of his playmaking, but also what he brings to the rest of the team in this map. Ali Mao is down for count. JoyStiCK's entry is successful, and for the first time in 4 rounds, Empire wins the opening duel.
Boom goes the dynamite there on the actually on the dining wall. Now with Team One, a man down and facing firm control above and aside of the site from Empire. It's definitely going to be hard for them to stop this push into dining and prevent the plant, which is something that Empire have been particularly focused on.
Neskin being watched by those footprints, and a grenade goes out, but just over the shoulder of Levy, who looks to re-engage from the same angle it was just thrown from. JoyStiCK will now do battle with the one operator he's fighting against, Neskin, the Legion, as multiple goo mines have been stepped in. Every single member of Empire don't need an IQ because they know exactly where they are going to step. Beautiful play from Neskin to isolate, patiently wait out JoyStiCK, and now amidst the smoke, ShepparD goes for yet the diffuser.
He missed.
Neskin is down below, though. What is going on? They have no coverage. Lagonis drops. ShepparD falls to KDS, but the diffuser goes down in the process. It's a glorified 3v3, very quickly becoming a 4v3 as Lagonis is willed back to life. Empire trying to take the advantage and aggressiveness. ShepparD just slapping them down, or Scyther rather, 2 big kills. He gets finished off by KDS. Neskin and KDS will have to do wonders against this Empire assault. Diffuser in a precarious position for them, and Empire does have top floor control. Duo top floor control, in fact. Going to stick the diffuser, but Always is there. The punch hole marks will be good enough for Always to clean up on. And the lead for Team One was short-lived as Empire fights back and equalizes with 2 rounds apiece.
I have to point out one thing in particular for that round, Parker, and it's so awesome to see something that Empire almost never does. In particular, Scyther, he almost never does this. He pushed in the post plant. Now, I hear what a lot of you must be saying. Why is he doing that? Oh, that's so crazy. That's a terrible miscalculation.
Michael, would you say, why are you running?
He wasn't running.
Why are you sprinting?
I'm not sprinting. I'm not going to do it, Parker.
Okay.
I will not let you degrade me like this.
All right.
What was I talking about?
That's for later.
Oh, yeah. So, something that Empire almost never does. Post plant and Scyther pushes. And it catches Team One completely off guard. They don't expect that against Empire, let alone from Scyther. And he gets a 2-piece out of it. that brings it way, way more in Empire's favor. I mean, Team 1 were maintaining a man advantage. There's one other thing I have to point out before I toss this away. Lagonis, he missed his C4. His C4 hit the wall. That would have denied the plant. And after he picked it up and tried to throw it a second time, he got downed.
Another thing to note is at that time with Empire trailing, if they did not get that pick, if Scyther dies early, it does not allow the players from Empire to situate themselves on that top floor. Not only did Scyther get 2 very important kills, but in addition to that, he bought time for the last 2 players, in Dan and Always, to get up top and hold that site from above.
Also, I mean, if you have a man advantage like a 4v2, which is what Team 1 would have had, even if you're above on a post play, I mean, 3 players can challenge, while 1 tries to disable. It's tricky. Now we've got Empire and Team 1 neck and neck here. Ooh, good spot there in the Vigil. He's not using his ability right now. Ooh, he'll pop it as he detects that he may have been spotted, and he'll fall back. That's the safe bet there from Levy. He's got great game sense.
Excellent play on the Nitros, or excellent play on that Electric Claw as well, stopping that exothermic charge to go off, as you talked about. So that will defang some of the push right now from Empire. It is critical that Team 1 run up the score here on defense. One of their best maps playing on their best half, with the operator bans not really swaying this map in either direction. So Team 1, at minimum, you want to pick up 3 rounds, but 4 is the ideal result. They've got 2 more to go to try and do this. They have not prevailed on that kitchen site, but the good news is that they're going to be going back to bar gaming after this. That's the likely assumption, which is where they were successful before.
Because bottom 4 is also where Team 1 have found success. Empire really struggling with the roamers, and it looks like they might struggle yet again as Alimao finds himself in piano. You can see how he's using the sound, how focused he is on his awareness of the environment. And Empire just choosing not to clear that. I can't say I like that call, because they're very exposed to potential flank right now.
Always just narrowly losing out on the Rotero drone. Not ideal. Zali still holds from above, but there's the Jackal on the stairs. He looks the other way. JoyStiCK sees the footprints. He doesn't need the scan. He takes the fight himself. Down goes Alimao with a minute still to go in the round.
So Alimao pushing a little too early there, and the roam is not going to have the same success that it had last time. There are still roamers, though. You've got Levy on the top floor, and he's actually kind of playing keep away with JoyStiCK. They're far from each other, and they'll actually pass like ships in the night as Levy starts pushing his way towards the C4 hole that was made earlier. Neskin trying to do work inside of Dining. He'll be lit up. The marks go onto Levy, but he wins the fight against JoyStiCK. Incredible shot.
The thing is that Levy is whittled down to such low HP that any ensuing fight that happens as he makes his way back to the bomb site, he will almost certainly lose. But as I say that, no, it doesn't matter how much HP you have. If Dan looks the wrong way, Empire bursts on in, ShepparD fell as well, and Scyther locked out as that round falls apart for Empire in the blink of an eye.
And that's very reminiscent of what happened the last time we saw Team 1 go to the bottom floor. Their setup there is really good. And they're constantly applying pressure from both Dining and the top floor. Great stuff from Team 1. Empire, on the other hand, gotta get slap on the wrist a little bit here, because you're not clearing out the roamers on Chalet. On Chalet, it's not actually that difficult to clear out the roamers on this map. Yeah, there are a lot of rat corners, but we shouldn't be seeing JoyStiCK solo clearing over on the north side of the building. He needs assistance. We saw 2 players pass JoyStiCK in that round, and those opportunities, I mean, that could have netted Empire a significant advantage if just forced. Empire know they can do it. They've isolated some anchors downstairs, so take your man advantage up and take the fight on those roamers. I mean, we knew they were there. Empire had to have too, because they were there last time they attacked the bottom floor. There's no excuses.
Well, back to bar gaming they will go. Hoping the same result happens here. For Team 1, of course.
Yeah. This is their last attempt at a defense for regulation. And a 4-2 half would be very bad for multiple reasons, as we've already discussed for Team 1. It's their map. They're really good on defense. And yeah, that just puts more pressure to take this last round and end it 4-2. 3-3 is going to be pretty bad.
It sure looks like Team 1 is going to emerge from this with the scoreline that they want from this first half, and that's best case scenario. Though both of these teams are very capable of greater dominance, and I think that's worth noting too. So for Empire, the good sign, positives to take, are that you've kept it close.
Yeah, these teams dominate regularly, and it's something that we've come to expect from both Team 1 and Empire through this tournament.
Oh, there goes Dan. The opening death. He had a strong start to this map, but since then he's fallen off a touch. This first half now, all the opening kills are in the books, and it's 4-2 in favor of opening deaths for Team 1.
JoyStiCK on the entry, looking for the roamers. He's got the drones to work off of, and the footsteps. It's gonna be the smoke at the top of backstairs. Levy giving away. Oh, but on the window, KDS doesn't spot JoyStiCK on the cross, but JoyStiCK doesn't know either. Neither player aware of each other's position. JoyStiCK's just gonna hold a passive angle, and he's gonna switch to a drone, but he might be trying to bait something out here. I think KDS knows based on the comms. He must know. He's playing such a passive angle, and it's going to work out great for him. The patience nets a second kill from KDS.
It's a bit messy on his end, but he pulls it off admirably. And if he plays this right, a third could be there for him as well, as now ShepparD looks to assume the same position that JoyStiCK was just punished in. KDS will jump, though, and ShepparD doesn't see him in time to vault a little bit early. One of those smokes or a drone will need to be burned to take out the Surya gate, as we now hit the halfway point of round 6.
Decided advantage here for Team 1. They're going to start opening up above. That's Empire trying to do some work. The clone goes out. They'll spot a lot of players there, with Levy and KDS giving away. Good information gathering from Scyther. And zero risk on that Yana. I mean, it'll just recharge, and you'll be able to use it later.
Scyther will just slowly inch his way down the stairs. Could be on a collision course with Levy, who's playing this angle. I don't know if they have intel on the bottom of blue. If they do, then Scyther will have the upper hand in that engagement, even though it'll be an SMG-11 staring him down. That rate of fire is usually too much to deal with. Miro just jiggling back and forth in the back of the site, and Empire are prepared and ready for Lagonis to get a little bit too brazen. This could be a huge round here for Empire, but they've got some work to be done.
Yeah, quite a lot of work to be done, as a matter of fact. With 34 seconds left, Empire have to find 2 kills just to equalize. It's going to be a tall order. They've got that top floor control, and they're going to be able to use it to try and get a pick, but they're running out of time. They have to do something now. There's no lenience left for Empire. A run out from KDS is not the play, and ShepparD will capitalize. That's going to bring us a little bit closer here. ShepparD has diffuser in hand. Scyther needs to cover from above. Always has to make a play over by Chimney as well. Empire's got to go. They've got to go now. They're running out of time. Team 1 are just waiting this out and happy for it. ShepparD going for the plant, and it's 1C4 to deny. Team 1 will take the first half 4-2.
Hello there once again, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be jumping in for just a moment here, as Team 1 does indeed excel once more, bouncing back truly so in this second map of the series and looking to leverage their own first control to try to get them ahead here and hopefully get a first map on the board overall.
So a brief summary for those of you just joining us. What happened in that first half? Essentially, Team 1 on defense, they had amazing roamers. The 2 rounds that Empire managed to get are when Empire directly addressed the roamers, confronted them, took them down, got the man advantage, and then went for the site hit. But so many times, Empire got distracted by the prospect of objective play on site, and Team 1's roamers punished Empire, really making it hard for the actual site hit to be successful. So that's why Team 1 find themselves up 4-2. Empire figured out that they needed to clear the roamers way too late, and ultimately, it cost them a lot.
And now with the sides swapped, we'll see if Empire will be able to excel in the defensive end of this map whatsoever. Obviously, a very different take going to be coming in for them. We'll be starting out with the downstairs defense over here on the inside of Kitchen, with the usual extension coming up into the master bedroom right now. A little bit more probably going to be built up beyond that, as well, so the team can try to maintain this extended position, waste the time away from Team 1, and obviously prevent the opening of all of the top-down angles that they will want to try and get an easy attack, at least onto the kitchen, but slightly into the dining room as well. So we'll also be part of this site. Team 1 now out and about on the board, bringing their first attacking lineup. The Flores will be in play to try and deal with all of this extended utility play, specifically such as the ADSs and everything else that we'll see for the defenders, such as Maestro utility there as well. Let's see where exactly Team 1 is going to try to work their way in first, and it's we're going to get some access towards the car garage.
Yeah, Team 1 coming in downstairs to start things off. That's actually, I think that shows great awareness because Team 1, just as Empire are doing right now, roamed upstairs. That's what we see from Empire. They're trying to, delay from above as much as possible. It's also a great position to retake from if you need to. But if you could do something underneath, possibly cut off some rotations for the anchors, maybe get a pick that Empire's not expecting, with that buck, that could be exactly what Team 1 needs to get the edge on the Chalet.
I've already seen this from, I think, Team 1 themselves earlier in this tournament where they were able to pull off this play against another squad. So they're going to look to try and see if they can find that advantage again. Unfortunately, specifically for Alamo here, nothing being presented just as of yet. They won't have that winning angle they're looking for. Dan actually does see the angle getting opened up from down below as well. He's going to try to spot that out, but he's got to be careful. He nearly gets spotted out himself from the rappel way over by Library. There was a drone sitting on Dan here from the looks of it. Oh, and unfortunately, Dan not looking at much at all here. Levy going to be able to take him out, and Team 1 get the initial advantage yet again.
They've been good on these picks early on. I think Team 1 are leading significantly on the leadoff picks. I think it's 5-2 now, and JoyStiCK.'s going to go down as well. So Team 1 finding themselves up 2. Empire on the back foot, and they've got plenty of time for Team 1 to start to open from above or maybe work another pick or two. Here's number 3 as Scyther goes down. Neskin with the cut.
Empire continuously getting pushed out from these hard lock positions or trying to aggress against the Team 1 attack here. Constantly failing and losing so much of their presence across the map right now. It's fallen out just to the site players, ShepparD as well as Always, to try and fend off the rest of this assault. They'll try to work their way forward, but it's not working out. ShepparD now pushed out of position. Always is all that's left. And he's not even on site right now, playing upstairs, trying to extend himself out from that position, looking for a futile attempt at a 1v5 here, but it's not going to be easy. And I believe Team 1 already have an idea that he's up here. Levy still holding the rappel angle in the big window into master bedroom. The good news for Always is he's semi-aware of that at least, but still, Levy continues to excel, gets another kill from that rappelling angle, and Team 1 pick up the first round of the half as they move up on 5.
Blue, this looks much like Clubhouse, but in the opposite direction. And what we're seeing right now, clear map preference on display. Team 1 looking just the better team on Chalet, frankly. Just as Empire looked the better team on Clubhouse. And to be fair, those are the picks for the team. So, yeah, Empire wanted to go to Club, Team 1 wanted to go to Chalet. Up next, we've got Oregon and then Cafe. So we've got some interesting maps here on the lineup, but I don't know. Or actually not Oregon and then Cafe. I believe those are the ones that were banned. Yeah, it would, no.
You're in map number 2.
I mean, I'm expecting this to go 1-1, frankly. I mean, I don't normally, in best of 3s, I don't normally like to make early predictions on maps. But we can see the clear preference here, and the reason for that is, again, as you talked about, you only get 1 ban per team. And as I mentioned, Empire banned out Oregon. Team 1 banned out Cafe, which I mistook for being the ones that were actually playing. I was misreading the graphic.
All good.
But with that in mind, there's a lot of siege. So even if Team 1 bring this to 1-1, I mean, what is there really left to say? You still need 2 maps for either team to take the series.
Basically just resets the series down to a best of 3 at that point, and we continue play until we hit the end there.
And you know, the crazy thing is, I don't remember the last time I casted a best of 5 that didn't have a map advantage. Because
it's very true.
Frankly, the map advantage makes a best of 5 feel very claustrophobic, you know, and it almost sets the expectations right out the gate, which makes things a little uncomfortable. We haven't seen a lot of wins when you have that disadvantage before. We have, of course, but it's uncommon.
Not to mention, it just gives that team in front a massive boon to play off of, a huge mental boost, knowing we've already got a 1 map plus over our opponents here. And that obviously gives you a lot of sigh of relief. Not going to be the case here, and Team 1 continuing once again to excel in those early picks. Dan tries to take the challenge out for one of the second-story windows, pays the price for it. This Team 1 are going to be able to knock him out, bringing us down towards a 5v4.
So what is that? I think it's 6-2 for opening picks now for Team 1. They have just been working those picks perfectly on this map.
Perfectly dominant so far here. Unfortunately for Empire, that's left them very weak to try and reply to that. The good news is they do still have some hard-locked extended positions. Bad news is that utility has a limited usage time, specifically because, as we can see here, quite a few of those explosive drones going to start working their way in from Levy, and they will certainly be primed right towards all of those setups that Empire has over at the top of Solarium, and then a few other key pieces of the map here. Always will potentially become the victim of that if he's not careful. But Empire are now playing careful overall themselves, as they do not want to try and waste any more of their player count here, having already lost Dan. has been one of the more influential players here for the team. Always, of course, still on top of the scoreboard here inside of this specific map, but we'll try and see if he can get the first pick for his squad by finding Neskin. It's going to be hard for Always to get out of this position now. He's locked in because of the buck play. He's going to get aggressive here, dodging the frag grenade as that moves itself forward, takes care of most of the utility that was blocking his way. Once again, having to try and swing forward and dodge these grenades. Successful as he goes down to just under half of his HP. But remember, he cannot fall back. He can't go down to the bottom of that staircase. And I think he knows it, so he's just going to reactivate these laser gates and continue to hold the staircase.
Yeah, Always has been really impressive on this position. We just saw 3 players from Team 1 try to pincer on him, onto Always, and it didn't work. It was a complete sidestep from Always, and it's really impressive when you see stuff like that, because usually that would have just easily resulted into in a death. I think most players in Always' position would have fallen back and died down. Now, here come the stuns, possibly a repel in. Always is blind. The starter gates need to be cleared. Another nade, and oh, he finally realizes that he's being watched from below, and it's a down. But they might not know about this down. There's no point notifications, and they didn't see the down clearly. KDS is going to go for the repel in, though, and he should be able to finish it off. There you go, Always eliminated, but it took almost half the round to get that done.
That's the big issue now. Only 30 seconds left to make up the difference in the 3v5. And while, yes, that looks like a very palatable advantage for Team 1 to play off if you still players off the side, as we just saw there from JoyStiCK. He misses his opportunity, though, to take down a player in Solarium, and has to fall back through the hatch very quickly to get himself to the inside of the kitchen. Coming down the wire here now for Team 1. Let's see what they have to offer us on the execute. And it's going to work out. ShepparD should have had KDS dead to rights, but it turns out not the case. Lagonis as well quickly makes work of JoyStiCK, and Neskin finishes it off. Team 1 continue to frag their way through this matchup as they go up on the map point.
What an amazing play there from Team 1, all hinging on the Solarium take. And Always, oh my, was he slippery? Was he sly? Was he the right man for the job? But didn't matter.
Not enough.
Yeah, wasn't enough. He wasted almost half the round. So much utility, like 3 players utility. And yeah, I mean, they still got the pick on him. And after that, Team 1 with barely 20 seconds were able to clear out the site. I mean, there were
pretty much every frag grenade being used specifically to take him down too, so none of that to try and artillery out any of the players in the site. Really only had their gun skill to try and push their way forward, but even still, unfortunately, the 5v3 advantage they'd already built up in that made it a much easier job to get in.
Yeah, frankly, the same way that Team 1 didn't look comfortable on Clubhouse, now Empire don't look comfortable on Chalet. I have to say it. So I wholeheartedly expect this to be a Team 1 map for us to move forward in the series, and I'm looking forward to seeing some more Siege as we, after this one, we'll go to, I believe, Coastline.
Coastline is indeed going to be our 3rd map of the series, so much more open affair for these teams to play into, and should give us probably some of the most exciting rounds of the matchup, I'm hoping so, as Coastline is always a fun one, giving teams a much greater degree of freedom to play into, and more importantly, play aggressively across the course of the map. We'll see what Empire's setup looks like for potentially the final round of this map, as they are going to be prioritizing the bedroom once again. Same setup, though, going to be emphasized on the double windows inside of Solarium, and there will be accompanying utility to support that.
Yeah, it's going to be a solid setup here from Empire, I would imagine, but we've seen an even more solid attack consistently from Team 1. Empire have been struggling on this defense. They have yet to take a defensive round on Chalet, and see if they continue to struggle here. JoyStiCK on the roam with the Vigil. You've got lots of options available to Empire, but none of them have been working for them, really.
So it all comes down to this now. Will Empire show us anything different, or is it going to be more of the same, more of the extension hold, hoping that they can find an early kill? And while that plan seems to have panned out, at least for Dan, he gets a fight outside of the trophy window. It's very quickly exchanged, however, by the Team 1 roster, as Always now goes down. The teams stay even for the time being. Neskin looking for more, though, as he will still maintain that same repel position. More than likely caught someone from Empire getting just a tad too aggressive, playing around the thresholds there. So I think with a good spot on the drone, knows he's been revealed, knows the pressure will broil out against him. He's got a little bit of a treat for his opponents, too, but unfortunately that Nitro falls a little bit short on the windowsill and will not do any significant damage against the attack here from Team 1. Alamau still trying to work the bottom angle in order to push Scyther out of position and force him to go down once again, but it's not worked out. Scyther's going to continue to sit here, waste time, and even a little aggressive now. Almost goes down to the second player on repel, but instead challenges Alamau and suffers from that same fate.
Great job there from Alamau, and now Empire, once again, man advantage against them. That's rough to see if you're an Empire fan, but this looks pretty much over for Chalet. We'll see if Team 1 can lock out the round and move us to map number 3. ShepparD, playing just outside of bathroom. Now he's going to try and delay as long as he can. He's got the gas canisters to do that effect. can see he's playing in a much safer position than some of the other defenders have played in this spot because he just wants to maintain control and delay as long as he possibly can. He doesn't need to get an answer back as the smoke. Oh, with the vault, he hears the nades being tossed in. No repel in from Team 1, and oh no, now ShepparD's in a desperate position, and you can tell that Neskin is aware. He heard that vault, and now he's just waiting for his kill to walk into his crosshair. Alimao very close to these defenders, but he's gonna get flanked by JoyStiCK, who whiffs! A massive whiff and an inopportune moment to do so. ShepparD, the only defender left on his team, and there's a plant going down. He'll spot Alimao. Finally, he goes down. Lagonis, though, gets the plant. You have Neskin, I believe, or Levy, one or the other, on that big window repel. He can see that diffuser, but there's the half wall. That's going to be a problem for Levy, but it's Lagonis to get the last kill, and Team 1 will take Chalet.
Very quickly after a bump in the road on the first map, they will be able to take control for themselves here on map number 2 of Chalet, like we were talking about before, evening out the series in a 1-1 fashion, now sending us to a very interesting